platinum voice of talk radio. Longino, host of Talk with Todd. Log on at www.talkwithtodd. The new platinum voice of talk radio. Longino, host of Talk with Todd. Log on at www.talkwithtodd.com.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Kelly Price.
What's up, world? It's your boy Trey Chaney from The Wyatt.
Hey everyone, I'm Gloria Govan.
Yo, it's your boy Joe Star.
And you are listening to Talk with Taj.
The Talk with Todd show. With the Talk with Todd show.
Caught me on the Talk with Taj show.
Keep it locked.
Hey, this is Bryan Mcclure, and I'm with TWTS, Talk with Todd show.
Sweet. Welcome to the 2014 season of TWTS, the Talk with Todd show, where we bring you the best in celebrity interviews, from entertainment to sports to music and to even movies. You know what I'm saying? Talk with Todd show right here, coming to you live. And my special guest today is Bryan Mcclure. How you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
All right, no problem, man. For everybody listening right now, Talk with Todd show, log on to the official website at talkwithtodd.com and download our free app for all you Android, iPod, and iPhone BlackBerry users. It is free, easy to download and easy to use. We keep you updated with celebrity news, celebrity interviews, and pictures and more. All right there on the talkwithtodd.com. Bryan Mcclure, man, you know, we appreciate you taking time out to come on and speaking with us. And how are you doing today?
Oh, man, I'm good. I'm real good. Just getting ready, getting excited about the new year. Lots of good things in store.
Now, you have done, you know, your resume is very lengthy. You've done a lot of work. Oh, yeah, you've done a lot of work, and you've worked with some of the best, like Tom Arnold. I know that was exciting working with him. He's a very silly guy and a very good actor. Tell us where you got your big break, how you got started, and how you've been able to, you know, Hollywood's a very tough, we know Hollywood's a tough business, and how you've been able to continue to work in an industry where it's very competitive and very dominant.
Yeah, well, like you said, it is a very challenging industry, but I think what you got to do, first and foremost, you just got to really love what you do. You know, you got to be passionate about it, because that'll keep you going through the tough times. And it's just kind of a matter of always putting one foot after the other and just taking baby steps. As long as you're making some sort of progress, you know, you're heading in the right direction. If you stop entirely, then, you know, you're not making any progress towards what you want to achieve. I have a mentor. He always says you got to be the drop of water that wears down the mountain. And that's kind of, that mountain is the entertainment industry, you know. You just got to be that consistent drop of water. You just keep on plugging away.
Now, when it comes to acting, okay, we know that, okay, they hand you a script, and you take that script home with you and you study the script. How do you prepare to take out who you are as Bryan and then go into a character, let's say his name is Michael, for instance? How do you prepare? I know Denzel has, he doesn't even allow his family around when he's going through a character. And Will Smith has his own formula of things that he do. But how do you prepare yourself to get into character and then be able to come out of character and get back into character again when preparing for a role?
Yeah, I definitely think that everybody's kind of got their own way of preparing. But I think it's a little bit less of removing myself entirely and seeing how I can find, you know, Michael, if it were Michael, finding what it is about Michael that I relate to, just bringing myself to the situations that Michael is going through. You know, you have to make it as personal as possible, and it's really diving in and using your imagination and really trying to allow yourself to go to those places that, to Michael or any character that you may come across, you know, where that person's gone. You know, you have to really kind of try and live it as much as possible. And the more you believe it, I think the more an audience will believe it as well. And it's just kind of about that.
Bryan Mcclure right here live on the Talk with Todd show, TWTS. Log on to the official website at talkwithtodd.com. Now, when you're in role and you're in character, have you ever, and I don't know if anybody's ever asked you this, but I've always wanted this because I'm a big movie freak. ever going through like a normal day and you're not in character at the moment and something happens, you just snap into character? Has it ever happened? Like, have you ever been able to use some of the, I guess some of the some of the what's in your character at time in normal life? Like, have you ever just something happened and just snapped into character out of nowhere and it, I had to catch myself?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I don't know if it's as much of a snap into character as you phrased it, but there are definitely, say you're exploring a situation where maybe someone has lost their father or something like that, and you've been thinking about that a lot and really working on what it's like to have grown up without a father or something like that. You really you just spend so much time that does start influencing you in your daily life, and maybe you come across some teen that's kind of misbehaved or something. You might start to understand that person better because you're like, I wonder if this person may or may not have had a strong father figure or something like that. You really, since you've been focusing on it a lot, you might start to understand where other people are coming from a lot better than maybe you would have if you hadn't been focusing on that at all, and maybe that maybe that troubled teen comes up and starts giving you some trouble, giving you crap. Beforehand you might have been really upset about the situation, but if you're thinking about what it's like already to grow up without a father or something like that, you may be more sympathetic and be like, I understand where this person's coming from, and I'm not going to allow myself to get mad at them. Maybe I can help them or something like that. You tend to take on a more empathetic approach to things, trying to think about where other people have come from.
When deciding for a role, okay, when somebody wants, Bryan to do a role or a voiceover, or whether it's, a sitcom or a movie, how do you go about deciding which roles you figure would be good for you? Because I know some actors and some actors, sometimes they like to stay in their lane with doing pretty much the same type of character. Mm-hmm. But how do you go about deciding, this is going to be, I think I'll take this role, or I won't take this one? And how do you go about deciding which roles you would like to take and which ones you would like to pass on?
Yeah, well, I don't feel like at this stage of the game I get to be as picky and choosy as I like as far as getting to choose any role I want, but I definitely try to make sure that the roles I choose to play are going to be in line with at least my morality. I don't want to do any kinds of roles that are they're really going to make me feel uncomfortable, or maybe put a message out there that I feel is a terrible message for people to be hearing or something like that. The story has to have some, at least it has to have some redeeming quality, even if I'm playing a bad guy or something, where me being a bad guy still serves the purpose of the whole story. I think that's kind of the approach that I try and take. And even in trying to, like, say you get a bad guy or whatever to play, you really have to try and look at that objectively too, and not see yourself as a bad person, but again, trying to see where that person's coming from. And for me, it has to really serve the purpose of the whole story. I don't really want to play, a bad guy that has no redeeming quality, and the story has a bad message. But you just have to. Sometimes you'll get challenged though as an artist, where you'll want to take a role that's really outside your.
Actor Bryan Mcclure live right here on TWTS Talk with Todd show. Log on to his official website at bryanmcclure.net, and that is Bryan with a Y, B-R-Y-A-N. Last name MCCLURE.net, and you can keep up with all his recent photos, videos, his lengthy resume. All right, all the information at bryanmcclure.net. All right, and you can find this interview at talkwithtodd.com. Now, I've read where out of 7,000 candidates, you were chosen, or one of the few that was chosen, for a 6-part series called Space Command. Now, tell us about that.
Yeah, that was a really fun, really crazy process. As you mentioned, they did a talent search for 2 different roles in this new independent science fiction franchise called Space Command. They were doing a talent search for the roles of Cadet Bradbury and Commander Kimmer, and I heard about it, and so I put together a videotaped audition, and I realized that a lot of people would just be doing a normal videotaped audition where the camera's pointed at them, and the same background fits the whole time for the entirety of the audition. And I knew that the Kickstarter campaign donators were going to get to vote on the talent search, so I wanted to make my video something different. So me and a buddy went out and we actually tried to shoot the scene and edit it together as if it was actually going to be in the film. So I kind of took a little bit of a different approach in my initial audition. So from the initial audition, there was after the 7,000 email inquiries, there were actually 1,200 auditions that were submitted for the 2 roles. Then they narrowed it down to about 200 videos. Then from there, they narrowed it down again to about 20 people for each of the 2 roles. And then they brought us in for a callback. And the time between that first audition and the callback was about a year, so a lot of waiting there. And then we actually got to come in person and then give our take on the characters. And fortunately for me, they saw something in me, and they brought me on as Cadet Bradbury. And even then, that's grown to I get to play both Cadet Bradbury and Lieutenant Bradbury now, because it spans 150 years, the 6-part film. So I get to be Lieutenant Bradbury in the first one and Cadet Bradbury in the 4th and 5th one. So I'm pretty excited about that.
And this is your first leading role, correct?
I've had a couple other lead roles in smaller projects, but this is definitely the biggest project that I've had a lead role in, that's for sure, yeah.
You ready? Are you nervous, or how are you feeling about that, knowing that now the entire film is going to be based around your leading part?
Well, it's a nice ensemble cast, first of all. So there's a number of different leads in the movie, so I can't take credit for being the sole lead, but I'm very excited about it, for one. I think this is going to be an incredible adventure. Mark Zickery, the creator of the project, he's written science fiction for the majority of his life. That's what he's really dedicated his life to. And so that he really knows how to create a compelling story. So I'm really excited to be a part of the adventure there for sure. And I think, there's a certain amount of nerves that come into play at any point when you act, but you can really, if you really focus on it, you can kind of use those nerves and use that excited energy and really infuse it into what you're doing to give your character a strong sense of energy and focus. So I think I'm going to, just really do as much as I can to prepare for the role, and then just dive in. And Mark and his wife Elaine, both on set, they're really good at working with the actors. So I'm going to do as much as I can to prepare for the role, and just let them direct me to what they need from me.
Bryan Mcclure live right here on the TWTS Talk with Todd show. Log on to his official website at bryanmcclure.net, and you can find this interview at talkwithtods.com. Now, you also had a role in a movie called Starving Games, the spinoff from Hunger Games, and I had an opportunity to just watch a couple clips from that, and it was like a pretty funny movie, man. I like when, certain they take movies and make spin-offs, and it's kind of a pretty good comedy, man. How was that movie? Tell me about the experience and your role in that movie in Starving Games.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's funny. That movie is definitely a funny film. It's definitely it's a spoof of the Hunger Games, as you can tell with the title. It's made by the creators that created those films like Vampire Suck and those kinds of films, those really funny spoof films. And that was a really fun experience. I got to go down to New Orleans for a couple weeks, and that was my first time down there. And let me tell you, that city it's an incredible city. I daydream about going back down there sometimes. That place is a lot of fun. My role was a little bit smaller, so I didn't get to spend as much time on set as some of the other people, but the time I spent on set, everybody on set was really amazing, really kind people, so it was definitely a great experience, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with the big YouTube sensation, The Annoying Orange, or not, but that is who I played in the Starving Games.
I'm not familiar, but I will become familiar after this interview. So go online and check it out.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Apparently, I do a really good Annoying Orange impersonation, so.
I'm going to check that out. We'll have to check that out. Definitely. You've done sitcoms, you've done movies, you've done the what I like to call those nice police shows. I love watching the Law and Orders and the Hawaiian 5-0s. A lot of cop movies. I mean, cop shows. I like them. Well, what do you prefer? What do you like to do best? Is it the movies? Is it television? Is it the voiceovers? What do you really prefer? Kind of like what's the main thing you love to do outside of all three of those? Is the movies, television, or is it like voiceover? What do you like doing the best?
Oh man, that's tough. I feel like as an artist, I just really like exploring different things. I kind of got into acting in the first place because of my love of comedy. Like I'm just a huge goofball in my normal life, so just being able to, do that with other people and create really fun films or TV or whatever it might be. That's just an incredible experience. To get to go to work, which doesn't even feel like work, and be able to laugh and play around and create amazing stuff that lots of people can enjoy. That's a blessing. And as far as dramatic stuff goes, if you really get some really solid written material and you can just dive in and just lose yourself in the material, that's fun. There's been times when I've been so into the material that when you come out of it, you kind of forget what even happened. Like people might say, like, "Oh, how'd it go?" And you're like, "I don't really remember. I think it went really good." And it's just because you're so in that it's you kind of lose yourself, and that's kind of what I think actors strive for every time they get up on stage or go in front of the camera, to just lose yourself in that role.
Now, tell me what you feel is the difference in a movie role versus like a theater role.
They have some distinct differences. I'd say at the core they're the same, and that is to be truthful in whatever you're doing. But the difference is with stage work is you typically get to go through a whole journey of a story all at once. You start the play, and it starts out at the very beginning of the story, and then you get to take that journey until the end all at once without having to stop, which is fulfilling as a performer. But you only do get that one take. That's why there's a lot of rehearsal involved with plays and stuff. As a on-screen actor, you do have the ability to do other takes with the camera and stuff, and you do not have the ability to typically go from start to finish on any one project, whether it be film or movie or web series or whatever. You basically usually shoot out of order, and that has a lot to do with the securing of different locations, when they have the locations available, when the actors are available. So sometimes you really have to just dive in and do things scene by scene when it comes to on-screen stuff, and then it all comes together in the editing room. So sometimes you don't even know, how the whole film's gonna come together or look until it is actually done. Because when you film the stuff out of order, you just try and take each scene one step at a time, and then hope that it all comes together well. Those are some distinct differences there. And a lot of times when you perform on stage, there's a little bit more, your performance is a little bit big, that you have to project your voice so that it reaches the back of the audience. And a lot of times in film and television, it's a little bit more intimate. It's just you're talking with someone who's sitting right beside you. So your voice, might be a little softer, depending on the scene. You do see yelling scenes and stuff and on screen as well. But for the most part, it tends to be a little bit more intimate on screen. And as a result, the things that you think, like, say I'm upset and I'm just really thinking about that, it'll come through a lot more on screen without me having to do anything than it would on stage. I might have to show that a little bit more by being bigger so that the whole audience can see that, where on screen, if you're thinking about it and you really believe in it, like, it'll come through.
In your years of experience in Hollywood, your movies, TV shows, the voiceover work you've done, what has been the change, or what do you see as changed in Hollywood between when you first started and to this point where you are now?
Well, I've only been in Los Angeles for 4.5 years, so there's I don't know if I can say I've seen a lot of change as much as just absorbing things as they are now, and I feel like Hollywood's constantly changing. So it's all about getting as much information as you can and just trying to put that into play. Like sometimes you have to really figure out how you want to, or how you're going to meet somebody that you want to work with. There's a whole business aspect to the business besides just your craft of acting that's really important, that I feel like a number of actors, when they come to Hollywood, they don't realize. Like you need to be consistent with marketing yourself, just as if you were if you had a different business where you were selling vacuum cleaners or something, and the vacuum cleaner is your product, and you're sending out flyers or postcards about sales you might be having, or whatever it might be. You have to do the same with the acting business, but you are the product as well, which makes it a really weird dynamic, because you have to separate yourself from the product so that you don't get offended if you hear no's on your auditions, but yet you are the product. So that's tricky in that respect. It's just a matter of being thick-skinned, as they say, and I think you just have to take each day as it comes and continue to take in the information that you get. If there's new sites out there that are available for actors, you might want to explore those options. If there's different networking groups, you might want to go check those out. One thing I can tell you as far as how things have changed over the years, even though I haven't been a part of it all this time, I know that the use of technology is changing things quite a bit now, more so than it used to be. People used to right now there's a certain websites where actors' headshots and everything are submitted by agents and so forth to the casting directors, and it's a whole process that's done online now, where previously people would actually mail their headshots in, which was a lot slower process, and more and more casting places are doing away with printed headshots now and just going strictly online. And some people say they like it better because of the speed of it, but one difference is there's less personal interactions with going strictly online. So that creates a different dynamic, and it makes getting out and meeting people on your own even more important as a result. I also find that there's more and more videotaped auditions happening, where instead of coming in to meet with the casting directors right off the bat for what they might call a pre-read before you go meet the producers and stuff, they may have you just put yourself on tape and then send that in, whether it's through your agent or manager, or have you send it in directly. There's a lot more videotaped auditionings happening now than what I understand it used to be. So I encourage anybody out there that wants to be an actor now to get used to putting yourself on tape. And if you ever see things, like Space Command, where it's a open casting call or a talent search kind of thing, to try putting yourself on tape. The more you're practicing, the better off you'll be. So I say if you're serious about being an actor, to definitely start putting yourself on tape with some of this stuff and getting used to that, because it's definitely not going away anytime soon.
All right, Bryan Mcclure, giving up all the information for you, for any inspiring actors and actresses. Hopefully caught all that, because if not, just press rewind and go back and listen to it again. What's going on now in Hollywood, he's giving it to you right here on the Talk with Taj show, Bryan Mcclure. Outside of Space Command, what else should we be looking out for from you coming up?
Yeah, I'm really excited about 2014. In addition to Space Command, I'm working on a web series right now called Dirty Q's, which is a lot of fun. That's a comedy. I get to play an undercover FBI agent. That's a lot of fun. There's a feature film I'm supposed to be working in called The Tunnels, which is a thriller. So that should be a lot of fun. That one I will be more of the main lead. Me and one other gal are supposed to be the main leads in that. So that will be a fun project to take on. In addition to that, there's a couple films that I am trying to basically start my producing career as well. I think people nowadays also need to be comfortable making their own content, to not wait around to be chosen. So I'm also starting to dive into to learning how to produce. So I have a short film that my first attempt at writing. I wrote a short film that I'm planning to produce this year, and me and another friend are working on a feature film that we're planning to produce this year as well, which I'll be acting in both of those. So those are just the things that I know about. I'm excited to find out about the things I don't yet know that are going to come my way this year. So it should be a fun year.
Definitely want to congratulate you on all your success. I got one last question actually for you, because you just said something that makes you that triggers another question, and that is you saying it's important for actors and actresses to also tap into the writing, directing, and producer end, and versus just staying in the lane of acting and being an actress. Why should actors and actresses start looking into lanes of writing, directing, and producing?
Well, there's with YouTube right now and with the internet, there's all sorts of ways to get yourself out there. You look at, whether or not you're a fan, you look at people like Justin Bieber or any of those people that were able to create themselves by putting their stuff out online. There's a number of people that are considered YouTube stars that you look on and they have millions of subscribers on their YouTube channels. And, I've spent some time researching them and looking into what kinds of successes they've had. And one thing I find interesting is if I look on some of those YouTubers' IMDb pages, like they might not have a very long resume on IMDb, but some of them are repped by the biggest agencies in Los Angeles. And it all comes down to basically, if you have a fan base, then you can sell tickets. I mean, with agents, they see the dollar sign. So if you have a lot of people following you or a big fan base, then you can sell a product. Yeah, I just think that, if you're able to start creating your own material and generating your own fan base, the agencies will, they'll start to look at that and really start to consider you as a force in Hollywood. And every time someone that's creating, it's kind of like a moving train. If you're the one that gets the train started, other people always want to get on the train. So it's like people are drawn to you when you start creating as well. You're creating is basically generating a hub of activity around you, and so it's just going to help your acting. It's going to help you position yourself in Hollywood to be a success.
Right. Bryan Mcclure, live right here on TWTS, the Talk with Todd show. I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for the information that you've given to inspiring actors and actresses. Pretty sure they'll be glad to hear it.
I'm really glad to come on. Really glad I could be here.
Yeah, appreciate it, and congratulations on your success. I will be checking out the YouTube special that you told me about. You did a great impersonation. I'm going to be checking that out, and we also going to be checking out Space Command. So keep us updated on that. Hit us up on the check Bryan Mcclure out at bryanmcclure.net, and that's BRYANMCCLURE.net. Any last words for the people, Bryan?
Just keep on rocking. Keep on doing your thing. Keep on getting out there, and make sure, just to be doing stuff that makes you happy.
There it is, man. Y'all take care out there, and thank you for listening to another edition of TWTS Talk with Todd show. For me and for Bryan Mcclure, we are out. Y'all take care.
Take care.
The new platinum voice of talk radio is Todd Longino, host of Talk with Todd. Log on at www.talkwithtodd.com.